today I wanted to talk about willingness from the perspective of where you're at. So I have a question for you. Consider where you're at in your heart and mind, where you're at in your relationship with God. We're starting from the point of where we are. So here's what I mean. Where you are is where you are. And a lot of times we want to be somewhere else entirely. We want our issues resolved already. We want to be done with the trying circumstances that we're facing. We want to be, it gets tiring when you're in long seasons of battles, or one comes after another, comes after another, comes after another. And it's like, Lord, when is this going to stop? And you feel like you're kind of piling underneath all of it. Or you've been trying so hard to serve and honor God or to do the right things all the time, and you're feeling that weight and that pressure of it's another right thing, but all I feel is tense and stressed because I can't get it right. First, let's take a deep breath. And when I say deep breath, every time I mean literally in through the nose and out through the mouth. It is a very helpful, practical step to simply just kind of calm the heart and mind physiologically to prepare yourself to do the spiritual work. So wherever you're at is where you're at. And we can get really overwhelmed with the circumstances that have happened before, or the failures that we've had, or the way that God hasn't shown up that we don't like. But when we can kind of take a step back and go, okay, all these things aside for a minute, where am I at today? This is where I am. I can't change it. I can't make myself be here. And I'm not where I was before. I am here today. The reality of my life are the current circumstances, the current challenges, the underlying emotions, all of that make up where I am today. And that's where you're starting from. So I just want to kind of encourage all of us that we're starting from different places. And sometimes we're starting again and again and again. But when we're in a position, whether it's for the 15th time that day, to say, okay, I need to take a deep breath. I need to reset. I need to start and set my heart with willingness towards the Father. So what happens a lot of times is we might think that we're willing because we know it's something we want. And when it only goes here in the head and we say, okay, yeah, I'm willing to do that. That sounds like the right thing. It sounds like a good thing to do. But if it doesn't go further than here, it doesn't connect with the actual beliefs that are deeper in our hearts. So what we're doing is we're going to take an active step from self-will, that is willpower, and saying, I'm doing this. And some signs that might indicate self-will, just things that I've noticed in my own language and what kind of tend to make that pressure that I feel that says, oh my gosh, I'm trying, but it's not going well, is I just have to. I just have to do this better. Now, there's a truth in the aspect of discipline that, for example, the discipline of prayer or fasting and those types of things. But when we constantly say things to ourselves and say, nope, I just have to do it. I just need to do better next time. Think about that. Ask God to kind of talk to your spirit about that, because it sounds to me like an area of willpower. No, I'm going to muster it on my own strength. I just have to do what I need to do to do it better the next time. And what I'm talking about in willingness is not self-will, willpower. Although willpower plays a part of it, it is God will and God empowered. And so in order to shift, it's not just saying I'm willing and I'm going to go forward, which is positive. It's also saying I'm willing and I'm laying myself down. A willingness is also surrender. It's saying, you know what, Lord, I've been striving for so long. I've been trying to make this situation better. I've been trying to make my heart do the right things. But Lord, even though I think I know the answers, it isn't working. And I don't know what I don't know. But I trust that you know. I trust that you have my best intentions in mind and at heart, and that you have a plan that is better than I can understand. So I am willing, I am choosing to move forward with you. And I'm also surrendering the things in my heart. And here's an interesting thing to note, which we'll probably talk more about in the future, is when the Bible talks about the heart and the soul, it is they call it the seat of man's desires, man's will, man's courage. Let's see, there were some other words that come into play, but the heart and the soul is kind of where these things are rooted inside of us. And so there are things sometimes in there that are stopping the mental assent for willingness from us actually taking the active step of willingness. And so when we lay our hearts before the Lord and say, I am willing, now use me, now speak to my heart. What is this hard thing or the small thing that I don't even recognize maybe today that you want to speak to me to take this next step on? I'm laying my heart before you, Lord, for you to speak. So that willingness is really about surrender. So it's kind of interesting to me because there is that aspect of discipline in the Christian faith that's important. There is the action step, that it's also mixed in this place of tension with, but I'm trusting you. So we move forward, we choose willingness, and we choose to actually take a step in that process of willingness based on what we believe God is showing us at that time, with a willing heart to say, okay, Lord, if this is not the direction you would have me go, let me be ready to change if I need to, but I'm going to trust you that I believe that this is something that I need to do for today. So I hope that's helpful for you. I want to close with a verse that would encourage all of us, and maybe just write this verse down today. Maybe that is just a way of saying, okay, Lord, speak to me. Sometimes writing the scriptures down or reciting them can just be a way of letting it kind of sink deeper into our hearts. The scripture that I pulled up for today is Psalm 51:12, and I tend to use the ESV version primarily, which says, it's David crying out, restore to me the joy of your salvation and uphold me with a willing spirit. I could take that a lot of different ways. I haven't done the research to identify the intent of David when he says it in this particular verse, uphold me with a willing spirit. But I kind of see it as an interplay of both his willingness and knowing that God's willing to uphold him. So you, friend, no matter where you are being upheld by God. Wherever you are, you have a God whose spirit is willing to draw you near to him, to offer grace, mercy, forgiveness, and kindness, no matter where you are today. Where you are is where you are. Start there and simply say, Lord, I'm willing, help me. I hope you guys have a good day, and I look forward to chatting with you again next Wednesday. This Friday, I'll be talking with my friend Susan. We'll be doing a live video chat from La Madeleine, where we are meeting to go through planning and organizing and that kind of thing. So the Friday feature is really going to be more about just something kind of fun and talking about how we live intentional lives and choosing some of our goals based on values and that kind of thing. I think we'll see what happens on Friday, but I look forward to chatting with you guys then. Take care.